Second Chances by Vivienne Melville. Emu Plains, 2750. Narrated by Chloe Schwank. Gloria stared at the enormous walk-in wardrobe. It was time. The kids had all left home and were scattered around the world. The husband was scattered now too. And the big old house with its lawns and gardens and endless cleaning would soon be sold. The walk-in wardrobe was installed decades ago, when she and George added an ensuite bathroom to the house. It had been such an innovation then, and George had proudly shown off to all their friends. Now it was filled with years of clutter. Gloria wasn't very good at letting things go. Her mother's fault, she used to say. That depression mentality of never throwing anything away in case it might be useful one day. But one day would never come for these reminders of her past, and she couldn't fit into most of them now, anyway. Where to start? She wondered. Probably the shoes. Clear a bit of room on the floor first. Gloria grimaced as she leant down and pulled out a pair of strappy espadrilles from the back of the wardrobe. Well, I definitely won't be wearing these anymore. As she threw them into the rubbish bag, a sudden memory flashed into her mind. Gosh, I was wearing these the night I met George at the surf club dance. They were awful to dance in, but they looked so good. I fell over and broke my ankle while we were dancing, though, and George bellowed with laughter and said I had 2 left feet. But he took me to hospital and stayed there all night, waiting. He seemed such a kind and caring man then. Within a short while, the bag was filled with worn-out pairs of slingbacks and joggers, Mary Janes, bedraggled slippers, moth-eaten Ugg boots, and the odd broken rubber thong. Gloria thought back to her shoe-shopping days. What a joyful escape there had been from the endless drudgery at home and George's constant criticism. Each week she saved a little from the housekeeping money George doled out, until she had enough for a trip to the high street to buy a new pair of shoes. George was always quite contemptuous of her choices. "You've got feet like pigs' trotters," he'd sneer. "So I don't know why you bother. All you need is a pair of farmer's clogs." In the far corner of the wardrobe stood a pair of fancy cowboy boots. An impulse buy long ago when Gloria had taken a chance and signed up for line dancing classes. She picked them up now and flicked off their dusty covering of carpet fluff. They really were stunning. She recalled the genial shoe salesman who'd encouraged her to run her fingers over the luscious red leather to feel their suppleness. Such a gentleman he'd been. So helpful and reassuring when she'd confided that she was starting the classes. When she had shown the boots to George later that night, he'd roared with derisive laughter, told her she was too fat and clumsy to dance, and threw them across the room. So the lessons were never begun. Ah well, thought Gloria, running her hands over the leather once more. No chance to learn now. The morning passed quickly, and soon there were 5 large bags ready to toss or donate. Gloria grabbed one and headed out to her car. It was quite heavy, and as she lifted it to throw in the boot, the ties came undone and everything spilled onto the driveway. The beautiful red boots bounced down towards the footpath just as a man walking his dog passed by. He stopped to pick them up. "Can I help you, madam?" he said, as they both reached for the boots. Gloria glanced up and was about to refuse politely when she was suddenly swept back into the past. A past where she'd heard those very same words uttered in that same deep, melodious tone when she'd walked into the high street shoe shop all those years ago. She stood there smiling, lost in a reverie. The man, feeling a little awkward, turned his attention to the boots. "They're a fine-looking pair of boots, beautifully made, for boot scootin', if I'm not mistaken." He smiled as he turned them over and inspected them. "You know, I remember selling a pair of boots just like this many years ago, when I owned the shoe shop on the high street. A lovely lady bought them who was looking forward to starting line dancing lessons." He proffered the boots to Gloria, then hesitated as their eyes met. There was a moment of startled uncertainty, and then recognition. Gloria looked away first. "Oh, I never actually did the lessons," she confessed. "My husband didn't approve, so the boots never got used. But he's gone now, so I'm clearing out the clutter and moving on." "Well, that's a pity," the man said, "because I recall you were really excited about dancing in these boots." He glanced down. "And in my professional opinion, I'm sure they'd still do a great job." Gloria laughed. "Oh, not much chance of that now." The man raised his eyebrows and smiled kindly. "Ah, but there's always a chance. In fact, maybe now is your opportunity because there are line dancing classes starting at the local U3A next week. And I was thinking of signing up myself. Perhaps your boots have just been marking time until the right chance came along." He bowed playfully. "Harry Founder at your service, madam. And I'd be delighted to accompany you to the line dancing classes." Gloria was astonished. Her mind raced. Can I do this? With a shoe salesman I met years ago. Oh, what the heck, why not? Life's too short to throw away a second chance. "Well, Harry Founder," she said, "I'm pleased to meet you, again. And that sounds like a fine idea." The end.